This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
It's the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast.
We're old school, right? We wash our own dirty laundry.
The name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back.
I refuse to be judged by a grown man wearing a hockey jersey.
Game on! Game on!
Episode 48 of the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast. Wade Hampton, Paul Rank join us on the great night playoff hockey. We're into the waning days of playoffs. I mean, the first two rounds are fun. Now it's where it really gets serious. As I was talking off the air, I'm rooting for Florida and Dallas because those are jerseys I own. I don't have anything from Edmonton or New York. So Paul or Wade behind you have at least have a New York one hanging there, and I'm assuming you guys both have all four teams.
Yeah, I think I'm there.
What about you? Have you got all of them?
Oh yeah, I have Wolverines from all four teams. Matter of
Of
fact,
course you do. The
only team I'm missing right now is Seattle for current teams with former Wolverines on them.
Wow.
So what? I just don't. I haven't felt like paying how much it would cost to get a Matty Bernays right now.
Yeah.
They're not cheap.
No,
and it's worth it though.
Oh, of course, but yeah, give it a little bit of time, and as there's more of them out there.
Utah jerseys. You're going to have to go to Utah next year.
Don't remind me. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Well, you think Seattle's expensive?
Oh yeah.
Because you know it'll be a one-season deal for those jerseys.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, but then they'll become something else. So it's
yes, the sluts. Come on, I'm still voting for that.
I didn't see it on the list, but
hey, things can change. So a lot to get into, and of course the big thing we'll get into here in a few minutes is Paul's visit to the San Jose equipment sale. But want to touch on a few other things before we get there. Auctions around the hobby, I guess the right words there. Migrate has a handful up right now. Speaking of Seattle, their Winter Classic gloves and socks end on June the 3rd. There's some Connor McDavid game used equipment. That auction ends June the 4th. And then Nashville Predators team issue hoodies end June the 6th. There are also some pucks in there if you really care about those. I do not. The other big one, Gray Flannel has an auction out right now with a lot of big guns in there. Gretzky, Messier, just insane. King Henrik. That's going to be a pricey auction when it's all said and done, gentlemen.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a fun one to watch. I think there's some, already around the hobby, some questions, and I'm going to throw out my only comment on the questions is I'm going to throw out an Uncle Milt. I think the best thing to do would be for people interested to do their homework.
Yeah, you've got a Gretzky Blues jersey and that one I think will sell for the most. I mean, that's at least what I believe right now. But you've got a bunch of Ranger stuff out there. You've got some Nordiques, just a
couple Ovies.
Yeah, a couple Ovechkins. Like I said, some King Henrik in there.
Don't forget the Fedorov jersey.
Oh yes, yeah.
Already at big money.
Yeah.
Another one we were talking about, the Oshie that is tied to the shootout game in the Olympics, which was phenomenal. So should be a fun auction to watch.
Yeah, a good lots of history in there. Some of those are just so expensive already. A little surprising. Lundqvist's mask from the Back to the Future, $22,500 already. Richter for $13,000. Bobby Hull 67 or 76.77. WHA for $11,700, and a Lemieux playoff for $11,794, and the Fedorov at $10,454, and then we go down from there. Those are
It's
the only
17
two auctions of any consequence that I'm aware of, unless I'm missing stuff that you guys know about.
but 17 days to go, I think it is. I'm
Yes.
afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of
So,
time yet. So we'll touch on it again. Either close to when it wraps up, we'll look at prices heavy, or after it does, we'll kind of see what we think of where those closed at.
On a different note, there are two sensational Sherry WWE wrestling worn outfits in there, which I thought were really cool. Not really part of our dirty laundry, but nonetheless, I was entertained by them.
It's still laundry. So soon, what you're saying is we're going to see it hanging up in your background soon.
Yeah, listen, you never say never, right?
Right, exactly. The strange stuff that we buy.
Oh my God.
Coming up next week, 7 days from today, kind of game worn related because I'm going to ask them about what all they do. The Bloomington Bison will be doing their announcement of who their affiliate is. I have media credentials to go up there and be in at that. So gonna go check that out. So I will report back next Thursday. I'm assuming we'll probably do a show, depending on schedules and that. But if so, I'll touch on that and give you guys all the details. It's kind of exciting to be able to go up there and cover it.
Yeah,
So
be neat.
Other equipment sales, before we get into the big San Jose one, the Blues announced theirs today. Wade and I were messaging back and forth the second that came up. Coming up June 14th and 15th. 14th Friday night is for season ticket holders, that kind of stuff, and then the general public 9 to 4. They're doing all kinds of things with that weekend because it's the anniversary of the Blues winning the cup. So all kinds of different events going on with that. The other team that had a sale this past weekend, same time as San Jose, was Tampa. Was trying to look around to talk to somebody, and it didn't look like anybody had really covered it heavy like Paul does. But if somebody listening wants to come on and kind of talk about how they do things, please reach out. Somebody did share, and I grabbed it, downloaded it, so I had it for reference. Their price list, and it's kind of interesting to look through. Is their stick pricing? They have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and then past player pricing for sticks. $300 for the tier 1 guys, Kucherov, Stamkos. You know kind of how it breaks down. Goes 300 down to 150. Then on the equipment side, this is where I think you get all the good deals. Goalie pads for $600. That is a super great price for goalie equipment. As somebody that uses it, and watches the ones fly out of the Blues arena every time Wade and I go to the sales is insane. Gloves and blockers for 150 each. God, on average, I see that 250 to 350 each glove.
Yeah.
Between the Blues and some other sales. Kucherov's gloves were 150. New gloves were 100. Used were $75.
That's a steal.
Yeah, helmets. Get out of here. $50 for helmets.
Now the question: Are they leaving those stickered, or are they?
As I believe the ones I saw from the Tampa group that were shared, they were fully lettered.
Wow.
and as they should be.
and the visor still intact.
I'll have to go look. I believe so, but any collector down there, if I'm wrong, let me know. Just scanning quickly on the page earlier today as researching for stuff. Pants at 100, I laugh at with some of the prices, the other stuff, but whatever. Socks, $5. The old logo jerseys are 100. Skates, 400. Again, especially if you're skating in them, that's a really reasonable price because new skates are damn expensive. Tampa Bay practice jerseys, 150. A little high with especially blowing out for Adidas.
Yeah.
Prospect,
75.
yeah,
75
that's kind of where I was thinking. Prospect and past player jerseys, $200. Come on.
Woo!
That's a steal.
I love it.
And speaking of steel, right below it, steel for skates, $75 a pair.
Wow.
Again, the pricing just seems weird to me on stuff like that. And we'll get to it in a minute with Paul's stuff, but I swear on in the pictures I saw, if you bought Bauer skates from the San Jose sale, they gave you the steel till they ran out of it, right, Paul?
That's my understanding that they had steel available to give you a pair that match your skates.
That's
Wow.
awesome. I know some teams leave them in, others yank them. Part of it too is I think they don't want anybody to get cut on it, and that's why they yank them. And that's fine. I get it completely. Apparel pricing, track suits were $80, quarter zips were 60, $15 and up. So I mean, if it was player worn stuff, I could see that. I mean, not bad. But some of their pricing I just laugh about. So the big sale, and if anybody hasn't gone out to see Paul's amazing photo gallery, shit, I think it took me a half hour to get through it. And I'll put a link of it in the at least the YouTube video in the description, and try and do it on the others as well. Amazing stuff. So Paul, take it away.
Yeah. Thank you. So I got to thank the Sharks for letting me take photos again. It is so much fun. They've been letting me do this for 15 years now. And, I go in there before the sale starts and I try to shoot everything before the doors open, which isn't always easy. I brought a tripod this year, made it a little bit easier and faster. And one thing that the sales at SAP and the lighting in there is not great for photos. So that made it a lot better. But I greatly appreciate the Sharks allowing me to do this year after year. And it's a lot of fun. It's draining though, too. So
Yeah.
I'll go into some sales stories. I know people started getting in line before 6 or before 6:30, I know of. I'm not sure how much before. I ended up getting there, I don't, what was it, a little bit before 8, I think. Sales scheduled to start at 11. And there's probably when I got there 15, 20 people there at most. And the line didn't grow all that much until maybe an hour or so before the sale. So, it's just great catching up with everyone. And yes, we did go visit, we tried to visit the Zamboni. Mitch and I walked over there, and the Zamboni's where it was supposed to be, but the gate was locked, and it's just
Oh,
like, yeah, we with the no trespassing signs and stuff, we thought it was probably best not to, try to squeeze through there. So, we'll get back to the Zamboni later, next couple weeks.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So, for the sale itself, it was not the big blowout of stuff people have been expecting with Fanatics coming in and Adidas going out compared to past Shark sales. There were no practice jerseys this year. Uh,
Wow.
I might be wrong. I think there were a few Barracuda practice jerseys, but no Sharks practice jerseys. There were some blank Adidas jerseys, not too many. And then not the full sets from this past 23-24 season. In terms of jerseys, the Barracuda there were 3 sets of jerseys: white, steel, and black. The steel and black jerseys were there for most players, maybe 2/3, 3/4 of them, roughly. There were no white jerseys this time. So either the players kept them. I had heard from a team source at the Barracuda, they were holding on to a number of jerseys to offer to season ticket holders during next season.
Okay. I mean,
Because
reasonable. I know a lot of teams like to do that kind of stuff.
yeah, so that was the story
And
on.
what were they going for? What were the jerseys going for?
They were very reasonably priced this year compared to last year. The Barracuda jerseys were 400 and 600.
That's nice.
Yeah, and last year I think everything was 6, 7, 800.
Damn.
On them.
Maybe they
So
learned their
that's.
lesson.
I'm sorry.
Said maybe they learned their lesson.
Yeah, I mean they all did end up eventually selling last year, but the $400 price point was really nice. In the bigger names and players you will be seeing the NHL, those were 600. But there were like no Bordelos there, no Therns, any of the players, that who are pretty likely to make it in the NHL. No Eklunds. Uh, so then the Sharks, they've been selling jerseys all year through the game worn stand, but not huge sets. I mean, not huge amounts at a time. I think the most we've seen is 8 or 9 on a single night up there, and that usually it was seemed like more than 4 or 5, and sometimes even 0. So the Sharks had a modest number of jerseys up for sale. Training camp jerseys, which are jerseys which were worn in the preseason or in the prospect tournament, those were 250 and 350. Which I thought was really reasonable.
And
And
those are the
then
same. There's no difference in the jerseys of the regular game jerseys other than when they were worn.
exactly, they're exactly the same. The Sharks wave design, and then regular season jerseys. I almost said playoff jerseys and regular season jerseys.
I bet those.
Yeah,
Where's
sorry
the
about
sound
that.
effects, Doc?
Yeah.
Sound effects.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what they started at. Most of them seem to be 700 and 800, and some of the better players went up to, I think 1,200 was the highest I saw.
I know you said Devin Cooley was at a grand.
Yeah, he was at a grand. Both there was a white jersey and one of the black Cali Finn jerseys of his. Both sold, of course.
Oh yeah.
Almost all the game worn jerseys for the Sharks sold at the sale by the end of the day.
Nice.
So now there was an issue with the number of jerseys. Two things had happened. One, that it was open to employees Friday night, and I actually heard not too many jerseys went to them. But I don't know which ones went. We never saw any Eklund jerseys at the sale, and we knew that there should have been a few available. There was one Thurn. There were 3 Bordelots. I saw only one Granlund. There might have been more, but it goes so fast.
Oh, sure.
It's can't really see everything. But the fascinating thing is the Sharks did not put up all the jerseys for sale. Why? They ran out of set tags. So yeah.
I'm sorry. I have to laugh at that because you think you'd have just a bunch of those laying around.
Yeah, I know you can't make this stuff up. It's
Maybe they were waiting to order them with their playoff set of set tags.
Yeah, that's we got years to keep making that joke. So
we won't get tired of it either, Paul. Sorry.
No, we won't. We will not. So the number I heard is 30% of the jerseys are still not tagged and will eventually go up for sale.
Now, do you think maybe they did that? I mean, obviously, if they ran out of tags, that's not on purpose. But if they're still planning on doing the 6 or 8 or 10 a night at the games, do you think that kind of falls into that plan as well?
No. And the reason why I say that is they're planning on having some jerseys available for sale at the draft party. So that's where you can find out who the Sharks pick with the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
They're doing a big event on SAP. Well, it's open to the public. Tickets are free.
Okay.
Should be a lot of fun. We went to the party last year, which was a smaller event because people,
nobody cared then.
Yeah. Well, they cared and all, and it was still fun. It's a good time. Hopefully, we're going to be in Vegas actually to witness it live. That's the plan right now. But also, in addition to putting out jerseys then, and who knows if they get the set tags in time for the draft, they're planning at least one sidewalk sale in July.
Oh, nice.
Because they did something similar to that last year, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Last year they did a sidewalk sale. I think maybe 2 of them, maybe, with extra stuff. And then they also did, love the terminology, a warehouse sale. There are behind SAP, there's a number of old warehouses that the Sharks had, and they're going to be torn down for, I believe, a parking structure is going back there. All that might change on that. Google has backed out of their plans to convert the other side of SAP into their big downtown mecca, which it's really a shame. I'll be nice on this. There were, that's where the Poorhouse Bistro used to be. A few other restaurants and a lot of parking there. So Google bought up all the land. They were planning on doing a big downtown, office buildings, housing, restaurants, blah, blah, blah. And then COVID hit and that slowed it down. And then it's just that things are different on their needs for uh, office space. Is my understanding. So that project is indefinitely on hold. So long story short, and how it relates to here is last year they did a warehouse sale where they were pulling crap out of the warehouse.
Like a
And,
Zamboni.
well, yes, that's where I got the two sets of shark skulls. We got the Zamboni. We got all sorts of photos and stuff that were hanging in SAP, lots of bobbleheads and just t-shirts and stuff. A lot of merch from the COVID year that was ordered but could never be given away because there were no games that year. At least at
But you have
SAP.
to order it way before. And
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So I heard there was one warehouse sale last summer. I heard there was supposed to be a second one last summer. My gut feeling is that will happen this year if they do it. But that during the warehouse sale, none of the jerseys came out. That was just during the sidewalk sale, which is in a parking lot. Um, so that so I'm expecting to see many more jerseys later this summer. And you are right, Wade. Some probably will make it to the stand next year because
It seems
last
like
year,
just
oh,
logistically, like going back and adding set tags to jerseys after they're worn to me is just really that's wild.
I was
well,
gonna ask that question is how the hell do they know what's what if there's do they tag it or mark it some other way the equipment guys know what's what?
I have not noticed anything in there. So what they've done this year on the fight strap, they have some sort of printed material that they put into it, which says in and out for the date it was supposedly first put into circulation and the date it was removed. Kind of like the old shark set tags, which had like, I forget, it was expired and I forget the first word they used.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of those, well, I know the last set of jerseys, the white set and the teal set, none of those have the dates inside them right now.
Really, God,
So
that's wild.
Mitch was able to confirm they were the last set of jerseys used during the year,
Yeah.
which I guess for teal would have been the teal set they wore after they stopped wearing the black Cali Finn jerseys. And the white ones would have been like the last 2 weeks or whatever on the road. So those dates are not in it. Um, so yeah, I don't know how they identify, what sets what when they get them. I know they were getting them throughout the year, and that was easier.
And they
Uh,
don't have a barcode in the neck like the blues ones, right?
I thought there was, yeah, I think there is a barcode actually.
Then maybe
Maybe that's
they're
maybe
scanning them
that's what
every
they're
game.
doing.
Then maybe they can go back. Maybe they can go back on the barcodes.
Yeah, because last year they were, I can speak for 22-23. They were scanning them. So when they went into a game, and I don't know if they did it every period, for like some of the reverse retros and stuff, they did have it period by period. I'm assuming they did that again this year, but I have not heard for certain. So I don't want to put words into the Sharks' mouths. Uh, the other thing to remember about the equipment stand at the games, last year was much busier at the beginning of the year because they had the set from Sweden, the premier,
Oh yeah.
whatever, yeah, the premier game there, and then the reverse retros were worn starting on, I believe it was Black Friday was the first time they were worn, or somewhere around there, and they were getting those to the stand quickly. So in 22-23, by New Year's Day, they've already had a lot of jerseys come up for the stands. This year, by New Year, New Year's Day 2024, basically the only jerseys they had there were like leftover training camp ones or low end stuff. They didn't have anything new that they could start selling until a little bit into 2024. So it does make sense for them to hold on to some and offer them up at the stand next year. But I
Yeah.
hope to see them at the sidewalk sale and be able to pick up a few things then. So.
The sidewalk
Very
sale,
cool.
the warehouse sale, the into the middle of the street sale, the hang this off your Zamboni sale. In many ways, as the Sharks need to get rid of stuff.
Well, you do have to compliment them on the fact that they make accessibility. They give a lot of people a lot of options and a lot of opportunities. That's you know kudos to them for that, because a lot of the other organizations just do an awful job of presentation and availability and everything else. I find us fortunate in St. Louis that we get what we get. And it really, the Sharks are really the benchmark for the right way to do it. It seems like, as far as making things accessible in a lot of different ways.
And the pictures you had, I mean, going through how the sticks were laid out, the skates, the helmets, the glove, it was very, very well organized, well marked,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
just very clear on everything. And they had a lot of cool stuff. I messaged you after I went to the pictures. I mean, the little bags that hold the skate steel was a couple bucks. I mean, some of the stuff wasn't expensive, but it would be cool stuff I would pick up because some of it I would use because I switch with my skates. Even I switch steel out because I have one of my friends sharpen 2 or 3 sets of steel, so I don't have to remember if it feels dull. I swap it out in the locker room. Just that
Nice.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, I regret not grabbing a bag or two of the steel bags. Those were neat. Uh, one
Yeah,
thing I
that's
did,
stuff we never get here. So like that, like you guys get the laundry stuff and the like that stuff is all awesome. And if you're a really diverse collector and you just have like a big room and you want a bunch of stuff, I mean it's awesome that they make that available for you guys.
Well, even the this will sound weird, but I know they're all new because they were in boxes. The team shoes, the
Yeah,
Adidas or the New Balance or the team shoes in a lot of times in team colors.
the
Uh,
Blues have done that before. We have seen
long
shoes.
long time ago, but they haven't done them for
Yeah.
years.
The
The last,
Reeboks when they
yeah,
when they left Reebok, they had shoes.
the shoes they had this year, I think all the ones I've seen were not in team colors.
a
They,
little
they were just,
surprising, but
yeah, but still, I mean, new Adidas for 50 and I think used for 30. And I know they retail for quite a bit more. I don't recall seeing any in teal or whatever, but it's like I said, the day goes by in a blur.
oh yeah.
Uh, so I mentioned that employees got in Friday night. What I heard is that they did not pick up many jerseys, but some, but gear was more popular because I think a lot of people then picked up stuff to play in,
Oh
and
yeah.
there were still, as you can see from the photos, there was still a ton of gear at the start of the sale on Saturday. All the helmets, especially the teal ones, went within minutes. All the teal gloves went quickly. I think there were only about 10 to 20, 10 to 15 pairs of teal helmets. And you can check my photos to prove me wrong if I misestimated. Um, lots, I mean, tables of new skates and used skates, and a lot of the used skates sold. Some of the new skates sold, not as many, but there were a lot of those left over. Sticks, I've never seen so many sticks at the sale. And
Yeah,
what
that
surprised,
wall. Holy crap.
yeah, and they have right-handed sticks this year, which was shocking because in past years they've only had lefties, it seems like, and
And see, that's the hard thing I have is the Blues only have a few right-handed guys, one of which is Pareko, and the stick's almost over my head. I can't use that one, so I need a little bit shorter players.
well, definitely true. Yeah. No, and the Sharks, I mean, this year was the first year I saw, like, when I finally got around to look at sticks, wait, there's right-handed sticks left. It was shocking. Lots of goalie sticks, a lot of goalie gear. I did not look at the price of the pads. I know in past years they were 600 to 1,000, but blockers most seem to be 200 to 300 for a blocker and or glove.
Which again, like I said when I was doing the Tampa prices, I think that's a completely fair price range for that stuff.
No, I'm with you. I agree. Then in the front there was just a lot of apparel. Some, the pullover hoodies for players. They had those, um, and those were cheap. I think they were like $50 this time. And then just a lot of leftover t-shirts, sweatshirts, stuff that wasn't team worn, but just
Out of the
stuff that
store or giveaways, that kind of stuff.
no, for retail, and I think
Okay.
all that was $30 off. I mean 30% off. I'm sorry. I think I'm still recovering from the sale.
I'll bet you are. Look, I mean, it's like you said, it's a massive undertaking. The amount of pictures you went through and took, and different angles, and really trying to show it off. You did a phenomenal job. You were up above for some, showing the crowd. I mean, the effort that you put forward with this is astounding. And Wade and I are working on, and we even used the link to your photo album to show the Blues what Wade and I want to do is come down before their sale and do the same thing. Usually, and I'm assuming it, I don't expect anything different. They usually do it in the concourse of Enterprise Center. Um, so it's basically a wide hallway that just goes around the outside of the arena. So not near as open or be able to like really get above it like you did with your pictures. But we're hoping the Blues will allow that access. We can hope and see, and if we find out before day of, we will let you know.
Yeah, they try to. It seems like they always try to wrap it around back to the team store, so they can set up all the checkouts, and then they also kind of try to funnel people into the team store for more merchandise stuff besides the sale stuff. So um, it's usually well organized. I think it's orderly.
Yeah. Well, once we get the stuff grabbed, that if we find stuff we want, then we'll get a lot of pictures, and if we're not able to get in ahead of time.
Yeah, the last couple of years, I think I had tried to take pictures once the fury was over.
Yeah.
you know, like, and I try to be cognizant of it and get a picture of the line and like, like whatever they have. So kudos to you though, Paul. Like you're awesome. I mean, what you do there is incredible and very cool. So thanks for sharing it for the community and the hobby. And then here's another one. Like I saw so many posts of people in your guys' community like thanking you and Mitch and other people for like the hospitality of helping them either get stuff or people, like there's a lot of that there, and that's a real testament to the way you guys are in the hobby. So, thanks.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said, it is a super fun day. I do miss the years when it was over multiple days. It's
Yeah.
just because one day as someone there taking photos and shopping and hanging out with friends, it is exhausting. And I know
Oh yeah.
and the people who work there, I mean, they're just wiped out after it.
I'm very thankful that the Blues have moved their time to, the first night is
It's 5:30 to
season ticket
7:30
holders.
on Friday.
Yeah, it's like in the afternoon, and God bless them because I was starting to get a little scared sleeping outside that building based upon where the entrance door is. So the last, I'm glad I don't have to sleep in that back little hallway anymore and fear for my life for 6 hours in the
But we'll
dark.
probably end up down there noon, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah. Usually that line starts to form somewhere in the 10 to noon range. That's pretty fair assessment of
But
when
Paul,
we'll end
just
up
like
there.
you said, it's fun to visit with people, especially if you don't see
Yeah,
them all the time or talk to
yeah.
them online, to just catch up. Hey, what are you looking
Yeah,
for? And make plans and all kind of stuff.
the line is to me, and Doc, we've talked about this in the past. I think the line part of it is almost as much fun sometimes as the hunt in the room. I remember the year after we won the cup. You were one of the ones waiting out there. I went through the McDonald's and I show up at middle of the night with like these two giant bags of McDonald's breakfast sandwiches for everybody, and the camaraderie of those lines and the conversations and the fun, and like you said, seeing people who are like, oh, I know you from the group, or now we get, oh, I love the podcast.
Yep.
It's awesome, man. Like what a cool experience. It's part of what makes being a collector and a fan so special.
Yeah. Did people stop you at SAP Center to say, hey, I know that guy from YouTube and stuff now?
No.
Damn. I was hoping. Yeah.
No, it's almost like we know everyone at SAP already. It's Been
Yeah.
attendance has
Gee,
been that bad.
you knowing everybody, that's not shocking.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
was there any like surprises or walking through there and you're like, what the hell is this doing here? Things like that through the tables?
Nothing really, shocked me. They did have, I think Mitch has posted these, the luggage tags, which were kind of cool. So they're little, plastic things you could, attach to your luggage, and they had the player's number and then the SAP address. I think was the
Oh, that's
address for
cool.
SAP.
Like
Very
the
cool.
bag tags and stuff. Those
Yeah,
are always fun because the
Yeah, that's
Blues a
neat.
lot of times leave them in the team bags, but finding
Yeah.
them or sometimes doing them separately is nice.
yeah. There weren't that many equipment bags year. There were probably just a couple, and then not as many laundry bags either, and all that stuff.
And they were
Well,
empty.
I heard someone found one pair of shorts in one, and that's been it so far. But they actually started giving away not the equipment bags, the laundry bags at one point because they didn't have enough. They didn't have paper bags for people to put the stuff that they were buying. So
Well, I mean, that's a way to do it.
Yeah, no
yeah,
kidding.
yeah. So, but they
Did
needed a lot
any
more of it.
masks? I think in the past you guys have had masks there, right? Any masks
Yeah,
this year?
not one. And that surprised me. I was thinking that maybe those might show up, but uh, and no excuse on that. Just probably just not ready to release them yet. Nothing
Very
like a
cool.
set stamp missile.
I am gonna do some research, reach out to a couple of people I know that know equipment by years, and I brought it to your attention in the pictures of skates. That one pair of skates that's got to be 20 to 25 years old,
Oh,
Bauer,
yes.
the 3000s,
The 3000s,
um,
yes.
that I'm really curious who the hell those are.
I'm trying to research it. I'm really curious about those. And I want to know the story. Were they just hidden in the SAP basement closet for 35 years? Or,
Yeah, somebody looked behind the door. Oh, hey, we can get rid
yeah.
of those. But I mean, they're beautiful. If you like equipment, because I'm a kind of a dork to that stuff. The older stuff and just some of those designs of those skates.
Yeah, it was really funny seeing those like right next to a pair of true skates,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
And
Doc has to be a dork because the nerd term is already taken.
yes, yes. And how heavy if you pick up those old Bowers compared to those true skates are night and
Oh
day.
yeah,
It's like
oh yeah.
wearing bricks on your feet.
absolutely.
But again, thank you for the super deep coverage. I know everybody looks forward to seeing your pictures, no matter where they are, to see either what they missed or just see how they do things, and it helps to understand. And again, we, like I said, use it for reference to send to the Blues. Say, hey, this is what we're trying to do. If you don't want it, allow it. Totally get it. We just want to take a shot. Here's what we're doing with it, and try to expand that. And if there's other people out there that can talk their teams to letting them do it, we
Yeah.
will help share that, bring you on the whole 9 yards because we want to hear their stories. I did miss it's a little ways off yet, but I remember coming up last week on Facebook. Sean Sullivan put out the Ice Hogs team sale is now a 2-day sale coming June 28th and 29th. Pricing.
Nice.
My first question is, will prices be stupid like last year? And as somebody commented, Sean said, you mean every year?
Yeah. It's
The AHL stuff to me is always interesting, and I've always been a collector of our Blues affiliate AHL teams, especially over the last few years when we went through a few of them. And I think the thing that's most interesting, and San Jose is probably an interesting example of that because the team is right there with you know, in the same vicinity of the team. But for us with Springfield up there, I think the prices a lot on those are always just different because the fanhood of AHL fans and the collectors, the way they collect as fan collectors is just so different. And those AHL teams are able to get some money for jerseys, and it's incredible to me.
And it's an accessibility thing though too, because
Yeah,
they do more. And again, I'm not knocking the NHL teams, but just how things are structured and stuff at that level, they
yeah,
can't do it as easy, but you get much more player access. They do a lot more events, the dinners and different things like that, where you can really hang out and get to know those young guys. The
yeah,
NHL teams just don't really have the ability to do as much of that.
yeah. I agree with that. I know Springfield I have to look it up. They just announced that they're doing like an equipment sale, like or jersey sale in Springfield, and I'm trying to find the details on it, and I couldn't find it on my phone. So they're doing something up there, some jerseys, and then they're doing something pretty neat right now where they're doing dash, auctions and raffles, which is kind of neat, fun way to see what turns up. And the AHL teams really seem to have it figured out pretty good. Some of them.
For sure. And they have a lot more freedom with what jerseys they or the specialty jerseys, all that kind of stuff. We've talked some about that before. So beyond that, I'm trying to think of anything to really touch on. We've covered a lot of ground. Paul, start with you. You got anything else?
I guess the only thing to add is this morning the Wranglers, the Calgary Flames AHL affiliate, put up a set of jerseys for sale. Those were the 22-23 sets, the home and away, white and red. They were priced from $300 to I think $750, with the exception being Wolf, which was $1,500. And
those blew out real quick.
Yeah, everything sold quickly. They put, it's just like the Flames. The website goes black for 7-8 minutes, and then right at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, it goes live again. And you better be logged in and have your payment info in there to check out. And they actually made it very clear this time. They had much better Canadian verbiage than I can use, but it basically implied you can put as many jerseys as you want in your cart, but they're only your jerseys until you pay for them.
Yeah.
So just because a jersey's in your cart doesn't reserve it. So if someone else checks out, tendered, I think is the word they used. If someone checks out before you do, not your jersey. So
yeah. So like you get multiple people putting them in their carts, but first one to close gets it.
Exactly. Yes. And they made it clear this year on the directions. I don't remember if they've done that in the past.
Yeah.
Making it clear on the Flames.
I do have it up here now. And it's started Thursday, May 23rd, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Jerseys will be posted for sale here at this time. All sales finals, discounts not applicable. Game-worn jerseys not autographed. As these are one-of-a-kind items, jerseys will be sold on a first tendered basis. Multiple cards can be holding the individual item at the same time, but will only sell to the first company to tender the transaction. Holding the item in your cart does not secure the ability to purchase the item. For details on shipping, contact the Calgary Flames. They even have a jersey FAQ on the bottom. Are jerseys washed prior to being sold? Yes, all jerseys are washed after each game. However, during this process, most marks, rips, and other game action features remain on the jersey. I like that wording. Game action features.
Nice.
Yeah. I like that.
So
this one too. Can you mark my jersey as a gift to avoid paying import taxes and duties? No, insurance and customs regulations dictate that all items must be properly declared at the full value they are purchased for.
And the Flames do know how to ship correctly to the U.S. so that the odds of you getting hit with a customs bill are very low. I.e., in other words, they do not use UPS.
And
Can we go over our sponsors now?
There's nothing worse.
Right. And in case you do want to see what the list was, because everything's sold, if you go to the flamesport.com and then go to the Wranglers Game Worn page, there's a button that says view a preview list, and it lists everything that was available, what the color was, and size, and what the price was.
Nice.
And one thing that did remind me, the Barracuda jerseys, the $400 and $600 ones at the equipment sale, were all signed.
Oh, really?
Yes, someone thinks that's a good thing, and we keep telling them, no, we do not want them signed.
That's a very AHL thing, though. It really is.
Yeah.
That's a very, very AHL thing.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that, though, but I guess some people, well, there are a lot of people grumbling. Maybe Tiffany will get a lot of business having autograph removal.
Post equipment sale business. There you go.
Yes,
Wade,
exactly.
have you got anything final for this evening?
No, I mean, just I think I've complimented Paul like 5 times, but great job from him. Looking forward to more equipment sales, and looking forward to our Blues one, so we can report back on that, and then just ready for the playoffs. I apologize. Somebody mentioned to me the other day when they watched the video, they're like, "You're always looking away," and I'm like, "Well, if there's a hockey game on, I'm sorry." So yes, I am. I watch the hockey games while we do the podcast. Um, but just enjoying the playoffs. It's been a heck of a playoff so far, and I'm excited to see the way these 4 teams finish.
Yeah, we're into the warmer months, but it's always good to enjoy hockey. Like I said, it'll be a fun visit to go up to Bloomington to see what they do this next week, and I hope.
Hoping for the Blues.
Yeah, I'm hoping for it too. I know they said they're bringing in an NHL person in a couple other groups, um, team groups that I'm a part of. One of which was the former Growlers. Somebody posted from there saying it was they heard it was either going to be Carolina or the Maple Leafs, which I thought
Really?
I thought those they were covered, but
Yeah.
it would seem odd if those are it. But if I'm correct, isn't didn't the Chicago just sign a 3-year deal with Carolina
They did.
AHL?
They did.
So
Yeah.
maybe that would be the only other one that could make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, why the hell would Toronto have anything to do with Bloomington?
I mean, it just seems like it's. Correct me if I'm wrong, but most of the time the Canadian teams, not that there's a ton of them, but they like to keep their affiliates up there for the most part.
You would
Logistically, it just
think.
makes so much sense. I know the Oilers for a long time were, they were in Oklahoma City for a while, and I think one of the reasons they left there was the logistics of all of that made it very difficult.
But aren't they still in Bakersfield? Their AHL
Yeah,
affiliate? Yeah.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean,
They just have a better airport.
yeah. So I guess it's probably a lot quicker to get from Bakersfield to Edmonton, though, than across the middle of the U.S.
Yeah.
Probably, most likely true. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we got a lot of stuff to cover. Depending on what else comes up in the next week, we'll either do a show next week or put one out to follow and with everything. If we don't do a show, I'll at least put something out, just a quick thing about what happened in Bloomington to put those notes, and then shortly thereafter we'll be covering the Blues sale, and if there's other ones, we will report on them. Again, thanks for all the support, the likes, the listens continue to climb. We're up over 10,000. I'm 10,700 or so. So we're moving. Thank you very much for the comments on the videos. If you have issues, questions, whatever, reach out to one of us. We definitely could work you
Come
in.
on the show.
Yes. Work you in, talking a particular topic or your team or whatever. So thank you. Like, subscribe across all that normal stuff. But until next time, gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll see you soon.